generalizes of the main ideas from the Winkle. And based on the picture here, you can directly still witness about this is the protagonist of this Winkle. He is called Winkle, and he's get into the kinds of like a forest or something, and he has been surrounded by some kinds of the mysterious creatures. And the main analysis of the main ideas from the Winkle, the first one is the tyranny can be overcome is a different way. And what is the tyranny? This is the kinds of the idea that can be characterized by the Winkle. Is like the tyranny is like due to this story background. At the time, the real history backgrounds about the authors compose the Winkle. This is the historical period in the United States that the political idealism is pretty like we need to follow the tyrannism. We need to be strong. We need to follow the tyrannism's beliefs to make our countries to become more powerful. So everybody there has the obligations to try to make themselves become more advanced. And when the people they just want to be sluggish or be lazy, they will suffer from a loss of the criticisms. And the authors, there is not really like this kinds of historical backgrounds to ask every people to need to put a lot of efforts and to put a lot of endeavors to do something. So he directly to create these kinds of characters to try to express about his mindset about I don't want to always to be so advanced or to put a lot of endeavors. Sometimes we need to some time and the free time and even the freedom to make ourselves to be more relaxed instead of feel a lot of the pressures. And the working is not the man's words. Because at the time, the historical backgrounds in the United States at the time is like working is kind of the instinct, is kind of the essence of being the humankind. Being the humankind, you need to work. Being the humankind without works, you are not will be regarded as the humankind or the human being. And the nature versus civilization. The nature here from the Winkle is like nature is to try to discover what kinds is our human natures. Our human nature is like what is the purpose of life and what is the purpose of being the human being. If being a human being it means that we need to always to fight for something, or we always need to be fight or against or something, or being the humankind, then we just need to always follow our mindsets, to follow the voice from our minds that can make us to feel like, yes, I'm the human. This kind of the two binary consensus is always to be discussed in the Winkles, like whether I need to follow my heart or whether I need to follow the societies to try to fight against this society. And the next page is the main character. The first main character that I has keep repeating it is Winkle. He is the protagonist of the story, and the second really important characters that can be regarded as the kinds of the tyrants or kinds of the images of the rebellions of tyrants from in the reality there is his wife, and you can look from the appearance of his wife. He's look pretty like kinds of the irritable woman and really like to talk a lot of the negative words towards his husband, and his husband is a little bit get tired of this kinds of a lot of criticism from his wife, and he just want to escape from his hometown and get into the forest to start his new life. And there is two kinds of the pretty important characters from the Winkle. The first one is Winkle, and the second one is the Winkle wife, the fictitious historian and the authors of the Winkle. This is kind of the third important characters from the Winkle. But we need to remember it's like the Winkle, because I have mentioned two of the really important binary characteristics and idealisms from the Winkle they also try to express. The first one is the human natures, whether we need to follow our mind or not. And the second one is we need to be more advanced and to fight for this world always. And the Winkle, his mindset directly represents is like our lives. We just need to follow our life, our mind to get freedom. And the oppositions to the Winkles to this concept is his wife. His wife is pretty like a tyrant, it's pretty like the warriors. We always need to work pretty hard to try to rebel against this world and to make our words like the rudimentary constructions to become more advanced. And the next one is the primary series. I kind of prepared two of the really important ideologies from the Reverend Wrinkle. They also try to express. The first one is the reformatic ideology. The reformatic ideology is more represents the Reverend Winkle wife mindset, because the reformatic is means like the progress, the progression. So we always need to make ourselves to learn more and to get more knowledge and wisdoms, no matter it is mentally or physically. And we need to try to have the more like the contributions or the donation towards our societies to make our societies to become more to have the more well-being. And the other is the conservative ideology. The conservative ideology is kind of the ideology that directly describes the Reverend Wrinkle mindset. And he's first talking about the human dignity and the individual freedoms, because he's always wanted the freedoms, because he don't want to get always to live under the shackle from his wife. He's really want to get this kind of the physical and the mental shackles, and he can get rid of his wife instead of always to be enslaved by his wife criticism of the nagging. And the first one is the metaphor and the symbolism from the Reverend Winkle, because at the time the United States is experiencing kinds of the progression periods. The entire country, they just want to construct the kinds of the political systems to make the entire constructions and the entire atmospheres around United States to become more safe and to have the more well-being. So the Tarragon's wife directly reflects to kinds of a lot of the United States people at the time. They want to be the warriors. They want to fight against a lot of the kinds of the bad guys from the other Western countries. They try to drag them down. And the long sleep. The long sleep is really important metaphors from the story, because in the story, the Reverend Wrinkle, when he's scared of his wife and get tired of his wife, and he want to return his hometown and get to the forest. And when he get into the forest, he's directly fall asleep for 20 years long. And after this 20 years long sleep, the long sleep, after his wake up, after he returns back to his village, his hometown, he directly witnessed himself. He has become more older, and his body is not that flexible compared to the young generation. And the more surprised part is that after his wake up from the long sleep, every people and every hometown, the pictures and the image has become completely different compared to before the long sleep. So the long sleep is also also want to symbolize this kinds of the method. Maybe what kinds of the methods you can help you get rid of the reality, and what kinds of the methods you can really get rid of the shackle. Maybe everybody have the different kinds of the ideas and the consensus about what is the method that you can get rid of the reality. Because when you stuck in the reality or stuck in your status quo, you always will suffer from way too much of a loss of the unwilling, like the criticism or something to make you always feels pretty depressed. And the seclusion's life, and the seclusion from the story is like the protagonist, he's really always want to have the imaginative life. And this kind of imaginative life is like what kinds of the methods that I can get rid of this hometown and get rid of his wife. But his wife will always to ask him to do the job, because the protagonist is really like to stay in his comfort zone. Like he don't want to work, he just want to stay in his comfort zone. And the stories, the symbols always will be talking about what is the method we can get rid of the reality and to have the more comfortable life. This life, it just follows our imagination. Okay, this is the end of my presentation.